I'm BB with Gosh Darn Dandy Time. It's nice to see you all again. Today I'll be talking about if I were president of the USA. My previous episode was on legalizing marijuana for all 50 US states because it's just more cost effective that way. In so many different reasons. You can watch the other video if you want, or you can continue with this video. My second call to action of if I were president, make animal cruelty an automatic felony in all 50 US states, Puerto Rico, DC, all the little islands and places that are part of US territory. See, with animal cruelty, there are so many different things in different states, and counties and cities all have different ordinances and policies and different clauses that make the definition of animal cruelty different from the next county over, from the next state over. There's not a lot of consistency between all 50 states for what defines animal cruelty or animal neglect or animal abuse. What defines it to be death of an animal because the owner didn't feed their animal, didn't provide shelter for their animal, didn't provide water for their animal. Different punishments or lack thereof in different states. That's a problem. That is a big, major, screwed up problem. And we need consistency. Big time. Consistency in the punishments in all 50 states. Not just 25 states get this punishment and 25 states get that punishment. It needs to be fluid. Fluid, consistent laws and ordinances and policies on being an owner of animals, being a pet owner. Pet ownership, guardianship of dogs and cats and birds and rodents and rabbits and horses and livestock. If you neglect an animal, you leave it outside, exposed to the elements, no cover from the rain or the sun or the heat or the snow, you chain them up on ginormous metal chain link chains you see in junkyards. If you leave them with no water and no food, if you tie them up to a tree with nowhere to walk or go, that's abuse and neglect. And that deserves a felony. If the animal dies during those conditions of maltreatment, that should be an automatic felony. I think, personally, like a sex offender registry, there should be an animal cruelty felony registry. Consistent, persistent, fluid through all 50 states and DC and Puerto Rico. That the FBI, that police, that regular everyday law enforcement can access this list online on a database, and that it's made public record too, so humane societies, animal shelters, animal adoption agencies, animal adoption nonprofits all have access to that list to see who has a felony. Oh, you have a felony of animal cruelty? No pets for you. It should be that way. If you've already failed animals once, who's to say that you're gonna not fail again? Who's to say that you're gonna be better the second time around? If you're a horse owner and you neglect that horse and let it lose 200 pounds, that's neglect. That horse needs the weight to survive, to function. But if you're depriving that horse of water and grain and hay and horse feed and veterinary care and farrier care for their hooves, you're not bathing it once a month, you're not getting their teeth floated annually, you're not getting them their vaccinations against pinworms and fleas and everything else, you're neglecting its basic needs, screw you. You suck. You don't deserve animals. You don't deserve to be a pet owner. And you should be on a registry that says, oh, felony? Nope. You don't deserve animals. Goodbye. You can't have an animal. And if you do own an animal illegally, you should be put in jail for a year. Doesn't matter if you lose your job. Doesn't matter if you lose your relationships and your family members. Jail, no bail for like 6 months to a year. So that way you get the picture, hey, if I have another animal again, despite I'm on this registry and banned from owning animals, I'm going to have even more jail time the second time around, the third time around, the fourth time around, which there shouldn't be even a second time around. But after watching almost a decade's worth of animal cops, Detroit, LA, Miami, Houston, I think New York City had one once and San Francisco had one once. But really, animal cops Detroit, Miami, and Houston on Animal Planet over the past 10 years, barely any people who committed acts of felonies, abuse, maltreatment, neglect against animals, barely any of those people had jail time or prison time. Sure, they were given some financial fines. Sure, they were told by their county, you're not allowed to own any pets for X number of months or X number of years. But who's to regulate all that? If there is no national regulation, that's really shitty. If there's no national regulation, no online list for the public to see, who's to say that you can't own an animal? Say you're banned from owning animals in one county, but then you move to the next county over. It doesn't follow you. Like your sex offender registry follows you, but there's no repercussions, which sucks. You could own another animal if you move to another county, but it doesn't mean it's going to make you a better person. It doesn't mean that you're going to take any better care of that animal compared to your last animal you neglected. Animal abusers, screw you. Go to hell. Go to jail. Pay $5,000, pay $10,000, pay $50,000. I don't want you owning animals and abusing them. Animals are family pets, even if they're livestock. They should be treated with love and affection and care and emotional consideration for their emotions, so that way they don't have to suffer any pain. If you don't want animals because you don't want the chore or the responsibility, then be animal-less. Seriously. So anyways, folks, that's the gist of it. I want a national registry for our nation to have an animal cruelty offenders public records list. And for consistent laws, every state, every county, every city. Like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you.